Okay, your NFL Week 3 predictions. So starting off with your Thursday night game, the Patriots versus the Jets. This game, historically, I think the Patriots have dominated the Jets. However, the Jets are a lot more talented right now. The Patriots have played their last two opponents really tough, but I think that Jets defense and a good enough offense, I think we'll get the Jets to win here. So I have the Jets. And then you have your Chargers versus the Steelers. This one's going to be such a boring game. Both these teams are like run heavy defensive type teams. However, I think the Steelers are a more established team. I think the Steelers defense is better than the Chargers defense. I think Justin Fields leg can create opportunities for the Steelers. So I'm taking the Steelers here. Then you have the Jaguars versus the Bills. The Jaguars have not played good football the last 2 weeks. Trevor has looked horrible, while the Bills, even though they have some injuries right now, they've been able to overcome those injuries. So I take the Bills here, especially with home field advantage. Then you have the Packers versus the Titans. Um, this could one this I think this is an interesting game. Both of them have not great quarterback play right now. Packers are still starting Malik Willis, and Titans are starting Will Levis. I think I like Matt LaFleur more. I like that Packers team more. So I think Malik Willis will get them the win. So I'm taking the Packers here. Then you have the Vikings versus the Texans. Vikings have been the surprise team, upsetting the 49ers last week. And the Texans, even though they haven't looked like themselves, I think their talent alone will get them the win. I think CJ Stroud is a good quarterback that can handle the blitz, and I think that Texans defense isn't terrible, so I'm taking the Texans here. Then you have the Bears versus the Colts. I'm not sure what to think of this game. The Bears, their offense has looked really bad. However, the Colts defense has also looked really bad. And Anthony Richardson, I'm not sure. I don't think he's going to play very well against a good Bears defense. So I'm going to get the Bills to win here. And you have the Bucks versus the Broncos. Broncos, Bo Nix has not looked good, while that Bucks defense, even though has not been great, they've been all right. And I think that Buccaneers offense will be easily able to like fly right through that Bronco defense. I'm going to take the Bucks here. Then you have the Browns versus the Giants. Giants have looked horrible. And the Browns haven't looked that good. However, talent, I think the Browns will still have a good defense. So I'm gonna take the Browns here. Then you have the Dolphins versus the Seahawks. Dolphins, they lost Tua for this game. And the rest of the team, it's tied. It's close talent-wise versus the Seahawks. However, I think the Seahawks have home field advantage and the better quarterback. So I'm taking the Seahawks here. Then you have the Panthers versus the Raiders. Panthers are starting Andy Dalton. I'm not sure how much of an impact that's gonna have since the Raiders do have a pretty good defense. And with that defense, I think and home field advantage, I think the Raiders can get the win. The Panthers looked so bad. And then you have the Ravens versus the Cowboys. Both teams that need to bounce back. The Ravens they're 0-2 right now, coming off two not bad losses, and the Cowboys coming off the terrible loss versus the Saints. And this is gonna be tight. However, I think the big factor here is that the Ravens offensive line won't be able to stop DeMarcus Lawrence, won't be able to stop Micah Parsons, and Lamar Jackson will be running for his life. And that Ravens secondary, I think Dak and CD can do all right versus that Ravens secondary, so I'm taking the Cowboys here. Then you have the Chiefs versus the Falcons. Falcons they kind of come back Monday night. However, I still don't really trust Kirk Cousins. He still does not look healthy. He barely moves. And I think that Chiefs defense will be able to pressure Kirk Cousins and that Chiefs offense. He lost Pacheco. However, I think that passing game will be good enough. So I'm taking the Chiefs here. Then Monday night versus the Bengals versus the Commanders. Commanders, their defense is not very good. The Bengals need this win a lot. So I think that Bengals offense will get the job done. So I'm taking the Bengals here. Then you have the Saints versus the Eagles. This one I think could be very interesting. The Saints have looked like the best team in the first 2 weeks. Their offense has been terrific. Alvin Kamara has been like the best RB. Derek Carr has been as good as ever, and their defense isn't bad. It's pretty good. While the Eagles, I think the Eagles offense looks good and can give the Saints defense some trouble. However, that Eagles defense is not good. So I'm going to take the Saints here. You have the 49ers versus the Rams. Like I said, I like the Rams, but they're dealing with so many injuries right now, and they don't play well versus the Niners. Well, the Niners have their own injuries. However, their defense is still intact. So I'm going to take the 49ers here. And you have the Cardinals versus the Lions. I can see this game going either way. Um, if the Lions had not lost last week, I think I would have picked the upset. However, I think the Lions really need this win. Um, they can't take back-to-back losses. I think that run game is going to give Cardinals some trouble, and same thing with the passing game. And I think that Lions defense will is not bad. So I'm going to take the Lions here, even though this one could be an upset. But I don't really trust that Cardinals offense versus a good defense like the Lions. And the Cardinals defense, I'm not sure how long they can hold on for. So there you have it, my NFL Week 3 predictions.